बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः श्रीबालान्धजडोपमा स्वहमिति भ्रान्ता भृशं वादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमहा व्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। हरि
महादेव 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 महादेव। Is the sound okay?
Mahadev Swami. It is okay, Swamiji.
Mahadev. Shall we begin? All right. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tamhadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Sarvopaplavaraitaha Prajnanghanaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Padamidham Vibhrate Tasmai Bhashakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Brahmaham yat prasadena Mayi Vishvam Prakalpitam Shrimad Swayam Prakashakhyam Pranami Jagatan Guru. यः परमात्मा जगत् सृष्ट्वा प्रविवेश पुनः स्वयं तं कृष्णं प्रत्यगात्मानं वन्दे गोपी मनोहरम् यस्य प्रसादादहमद्वयात्मा विश्वं समस्तं मयि कल्पितं च तं सर्वलोकैकगुरुं सदाश्री स्वयं प्रकाशं गुरुमानतोऽस्मि गुरुणां चरणाम्भोजं प्रणिपत्य निरन्तरम् तत्कृपालेशतो द्वैत चिन्ताकौस्तुभमारभे Om. Now, in the process of even deconstructing one of the postulates held by the Vaisheshika system is, is to falsify or is to show the defect of the postulate, as the postulate cannot be proven as a fact through any pramana. So, because any fact, anything will be accepted as factual when the knowledge of that object is gained through the pramana. And if there is no pramana, then it simply will be treated as someone's figment of imagination. And that what is an imagination is simply called as viparyaya. It is called as viparyaya. So the postulate of the Vaisheshikas is that there is a relationship between two things, and these two things are not two substances. It is something like one of them is a substance, the other can be the attribute. One is an avayavi, the other one is the avayava, meaning the part in the whole, general and the specific. Between these two things, there is a relationship, and according to them, that both of them are related to each other through a relationship called as samavaya. At this point, I have to still make one point clearer and get it through. Hope people are here and they will be able to follow. In the Vaisheshika system, they do not say that the world of Panchamahabhutas is anityam. Okay. They say that Akasha, meaning the space, is nityam. But Vayu, Agni, Prithvi, Aap, all these other four elements have got two forms, one which is nitya and one which is anitya. Okay, because somebody yesterday had sent me a question saying that samavaya sambandha can be nityam, is anityam, because how can this sambandha be nityam when those two things are anityam? according to them, the world is not anityam, wherein everything, world in the sense that which includes, which takes you right up to the Panchamahabhutas, is not anityam. Prithvi, etc., they exist as nitya. And therefore, for them to claim that there is a nitya sambandha is justified in the Vaisheshika system. Now, it can be a system of the Vaisheshikas, but whatever is their claim, is that claim or is that knowledge? Or can that claim be treated as knowledge generated by the pramana is yet another question. So now this samavaya sambandha on which we are dwelling for such long time, they are saying that this samavaya is a nitya sambandha, which we have said through Shruti Pramana and even through the Anumana Pramana, it is not possible to prove samavaya. And samavaya by itself, by being atindriya, even pratyaksha pramana also cannot prove, establish samavaya. So thus, in a way, we have said, we in the sense, the author over here, the book says that through all the three pramanas which can be employed to generate knowledge, none of them generate the knowledge that there is samavaya. So since it is not knowledge, but then what is it? It is viparyaya. It is vadikalpitam. Therefore, it is unacceptable. Hence, you cannot stop us from saying there is tadatmya between Hiranyagarbha and Taijasa. There is tadatmya between the samashti sukshma sharira and vyashti sukshma sharira. And he whosoever meditates on this tadatmyam of the Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha, then attains oneness with Hiranyagarbha. That is the phalam of this upasana. Okay? It is an upasana, and this upasana gives the phalam that now the upasaka finds himself as Hiranyagarbha after this particular body is given away. Okay? The phalam will be after the body is given away. Hiranyagarbha. Padaprapti. Till then, he simply has to meditate on its tadatmya. And tadatmya basically means that there is some sort of difference. Bhinnatve sati abhinnatvam. There is a bhinnatvam. But Hiranyagarbha Padaprapti means now it is not tadatmyam. He discovers himself as Hiranyagarbha. I am Hiranyagarbha. So, all the three pramanas cannot prove existence of samavaya sambandha. Yet, the prativadi, meaning the opponent, Purvapaksha, finds a little loophole. And he says that we still cannot say that Anumana is not able to prove Tadatmyam, Samavaya. We can still present you with one Anuman. We can present you with one Anumana. 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 We can present one inference. And if this inference is able to prove existence of samavaya, then samavaya will become a fact. Because there is a pramanam. And he presents a new way of bringing the anumana. Now look at that. This is also a little interesting thing. But it really requires one's good attention and participation. We have a serious electric failure over here. Okay. So when a person says Rupi Ghataha, meaning Athava Rupavan Ghataha, the pot with the form. What is he saying? The pot with the form. In this case, pot is the substance and the rupa, its particular form, is the attribute. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce you to some new words which will come again and again in the scriptural discussions in the advanced works. Okay. So now be prepared and keep a note of what is happening. Better be writing. So one says Rupavan Ghataha. What are you saying? Rupavan Ghataha. The pot with a form. In this particular sentence, what do you find? That the form Rupa is the attribute of the pot. Got it? Pot is the substance and its form is the attribute. Now, hold on. At this point, the substance and attribute, if this much is acceptable, then we can proceed further. So we give a nod as of now, saying that yes, okay, pot and the form of the pot. Okay. Here in this case, look at it. So the form, the attribute is treated as the Visheshana. That attribute means the Visheshana. And that to which the attribute belongs is the substantive. So an adjective and the substantive. Visheshana and Visheshya. Pay attention to the words because these are, he is going to present us with Anuman, whereby it is purely our cognitive analysis of the cognitive process. Therefore, this is a little subtle topic. Visheshana and Visheshya. Now, when I am going to say the red pot or the red pot, red is an adjective, pot is the substantive. in the sentence, what is the adjective? The word red is an adjective. The word pot is the substantive. Visheshana means the adjective. Visheshya means the substantive. Now, adjective plus substantive equals to, okay, keep that as fill in the blanks. Now come to the Sanskrit part of it. Visheshana plus Visheshya equals to, we are going to say Vishishta. Okay, what will we say? Vishishta. Okay, Vishishta. So now, in your final understanding, red pot. Red is a color. Pot is an object. So now this color has become the adjective to the object, meaning to the substantive, leading to your final cognition as the red pot, Vishishta Buddhi. Now, what is your final thing? It is Vishishta. So, Visheshana plus Visheshya equals to Vishishta. Got it? Let all these three words sink in properly. Okay? Have proper things. Visheshana, Visheshya equals to Vishishta. Got it? Vishishta. So whenever there is a Vishishta Buddhi, in that case, the adjective is along with the substantive, inseparable. Vishishta. It is inseparable in the sense it is seen as one body. Vishishta. So he says over here, he is going to now present us with an inference over here involving this analysis. So let us go to the text. On page number 83 in the physical text, Vishishta Buddhi Visheshana Visheshya Sambandha Vishaya Vishishta Buddhitva iti anumanena tat siddhihi iti navacham. Now, whenever there is Vishishta Buddhi, whenever there is knowledge of anything that is Vishishta, hopefully you have got it. The word Vishishta, which means adjective plus substantive. Okay, whenever there is Vishishta Buddhi, it means that there is already a Visheshana, there is an adjective, and there is a substantive. Now, since there are these two, and also these two are related to each other, now, wherever such Vishishta Buddhi takes place, the presence of two and presence of these two as not two different entities, but as the same thing, goes to prove that these two are there and they are related to each other. Thus, it goes to prove Samavaya. Okay, you understand where he is taking the Purva Paksha? The Vaisheshika is taking Vishishta Buddhi Visheshana Vishesha Sambandha Vishaya. So how is the Vishishta Buddhi? It will always include the Sambandha between the Visheshana and Visheshya. Got it? It will always be inclusive of the relation between the adjective and the substantive. Wherever there is a Vishishta Buddhi, that Vishishta Buddhi will not only just include these two, but also their relationship. So Vishishta Buddhi has three components. One is the Visheshana, the other one is Vishesha, and the third is the Sambandha between Visheshana and Vishesha. When will this be? Wherever there is Vishishta Buddhi, that will come with the Sambandha between Visheshana and Vishesha. Now, wherever there is such a Sambandha, he says, it goes to say that this Sambandha is Samavaya, because there is Vishishta Buddhi. So the Vedanti answers him and says that, sir, you cannot use this as an inference to prove the presence of Samavaya. Yes, there is a Sambandha between these two, but that does not mean that Sambandha, that the relation between the Visheshana and Vishesha is Samavaya Sambandha. There is a Sambandha, we will also admit, but it does not prove Samavaya. Why? Because we can claim that it is Tadatmya. We can claim it is Tadatmya. You saying Samavaya does not make it Samavaya as a fact, because Samavaya cannot be proven otherwise. But we are also going to use the same logic and say that between the Visheshana and Visheshya, there is Tadatmya. And therefore, Anumanasya Arthantaratvat, instead of taking it to the understanding of Samavaya, the same inference can take us to the understanding of Tadatmyam. Another padarth अर्थांतर हो रहा है. So you wanted to show what? Samavaya. And what have we seen? Tadatmyam. And therefore there is arthantara dosha. So therefore this particular inference also cannot be used. Thus, by every means that we have employed to verify if there is Samavaya, we have come to a conclusion that none of these pramanas can ever prove Samavaya Sambandha. Okay? Therefore, there is nothing. Even the Samavaya is also not Nityam, because Samavaya itself is not there. Then forget calling it Nityam. And therefore, we have no problem as yet to say Brahman alone is, and Brahman alone is Nityam. Got it? So now let that be very clear, that any other claim which says that there is another Nitya Padartha, there is something else which is Nityam other than Paramatma, is without any foundation. And that foundation has to be the foundation of Pramana. If it cannot be proven through the appropriate means of knowledge, then it can be your figment of imagination, it can be your whim and fancy, but it is not knowledge. It is not a fact, because you can know a fact. That what is not a fact can never be known, cannot be known. Okay, so there we go. Tasmat lakshana pramanayogo anirupanat. Therefore, it is through the lakshana and also through the pramana. Now, your samavaya cannot be proven. Anirupanat samavaya siddhehe. Samavayasya asiddhi. Samavaya siddhehe. It is not samavaya siddhi, it is what? That's why we have to be very cautious. Samavaya siddhehe jati vyakyoho samanya visheshayoho va sarvatra tadatmyameva sambandha iti siddham. Therefore, between the jati and vyakti, between the species and the individual, or between the general and specific, what is the relationship? Now, it is definitely not samavaya, it is tadatmyam. Tadatmyameva sambandha iti siddham. Ataha tadrishtantena समष्टि व्यष्टि सूक्ष्म शरीरयोः तादात्म्य प्रतिपादनम युक्तमेव. Thus, now, ataha tadrishtantena, therefore, by providing the illustration of jati and vyakti, or samanya and vishesha, general and specific, we have shown you the tadatmyam between samashti and vyashti sukshma shariras, and thus it is yuktameva, it is perfectly justified. What is justified? To say that there is tadatmyam between the samashti sukshma and vyashti sukshma shariras. This is also justified, and it is also justified even to give the example of jati and vyakti, samanya and vishesha, no, vishesha, general and specific. To give that example of these two to prove tadatmyam, and such tadatmyam exists between these samashti and vyashti sukshma shariras, is very justified. Thus now, from this point, the upasaka can do the upasana, the meditation on the tadatmyam of Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha without any doubt. Okay. Nacha vyashti sukshma sharirasya. Now there can be one more objection. And that objection is, sir, the individual sukshma sharira, the individual subtle body, the individual subtle body is constructed of the sukshma mahabhutas. What is it constructed of? Sukshma mahabhutas, the subtle 5 elements. Whereas this physical body of ours is constructed of the Panchamahabhutas, of the 5 elements only, but they are in grossified form. Whereas the mind, indriyas, pranas, this is not gross, it is subtle, yet it is what? Pancha Mahabhautikam, but not grossified. How is it? Sukshma. So, Vyashti Sukshma Sharirasya Bhautikataya. It is constructed of the five Mahabhutas. So now, according to this statement, what is the Upadana Karanam? What is the material cause of the Sukshma Sharira? What is the material cause? What? What is the material cause of the subtle body? The subtle elements. So between those subtle elements and this individual subtle body, the tadatmyam can be there. There is the tadatmyam can be possible where? Because that is the karanam. Okay, since it is the cause. So there is the tadatmyam can be there between the Pancha Mahabhutas and the subtle body, individual subtle body. But you are saying there is a tadatmyam between the Vyashti and the Samashti Sukshma Sharira, the individual subtle body and the total subtle body. Now, do you understand where is the shoe pinching? Understand? This is not very difficult. This is not some rocket science. It is a simple thing. So let us say there is a clay pot. So I can say between the pot and the clay, there is tadatmyam. Because the clay is the cause, pot is the effect. Similarly, the Panchamahabhutas are, Panchamahabhutas means the five elements are the cause of this individual subtle body. Okay. Therefore, where can the tadatmyam be? Between the individual subtle body and its cause, namely the Panchamahabhutas, the five elements, because that, like the pot and the clay is the cause, pot is the effect, the subtle body is the effect, and Panchamahabhutas is the cause. So between the cause and the effect, tadatmyam is there. So now the tadatmyam you can say is between the five elements and the individual subtle body. But where are you asking us to meditate on? Between the tadatmyam, between the Vyashti Sukshma Sharira and the Samashti Sukshma Sharira. Was it said that the Vyashti Sukshma Sharira is the effect and the total subtle body, the Samashti Sukshma Sharira, is the Karanam? Was it said like that? No. Then how can you say there is tadatmya between these two? Now there is a small change. The topic has advanced. Previously, we were only arguing for establishing tadatmya sambandha. Now that the tadatmyam is there, now we want to verify whether there is tadatmyam possible between the total subtle body and the individual subtle body. Tadatmyam is already established. The idea of Tadatmyam is established, but we want to find out, verify whether such Tadatmyam exists between the Samashti Sukshma and the Vyashti Sukshma Deha, Sharira. Is there this Tadatmyam over here or not? Tadatmyam can be said between the cause and the effect. But the cause of the Sukshma Sharira is Panchamahabhutas. The cause is Panchamahabhutas, not the Samashti Sukshma Sharira. Then how can you still claim the Tadatmyam? This is the objection. Got it? This is only an objection. This is the question. How can there be Tadatmyam? So now he says, Vyashti Sukshma Sharirasya Bhautikataya Samashti Sukshma Shariropadanatva Bhavat Upadanatva Bhavat Katham Tayoho Tadatmyam. Then the teacher says, Itina Vacham. Don't say it is not there. Which means what? That Tadatmyam is there. Between what? Between the total subtle body and the individual subtle body. There is Tadatmyam. But why did the Purva Paksha see that there is an impossibility of Tadatmyam between these two? Because the Samashti cannot be called as the material cause of the Vyashti Sukshma Sharira. Got it? Hope you all are able to keep this in mind. If this is becoming a little heavier, we can stop at this point. Okay, we can stop and we can come back. But coming back and me leaving this topic over here, the discussion is not so that you are relieved. Rather, if you really are the student and a seeker of Vedanta, then in that case, you will have to truly sit back and reflect on every line that was being taught. Do not treat anything as and fling it to the wind. Treat it very lightly and fling it to the wind. Because you give ample importance to all other things other than just this contemplation. Because, and without this kind of a contemplation, which follows the track of the Shastra, this is not something that is random. This is not something which is amusing. This is the Shastrakaras are leading you into the very subtleties of discovering the truth. And if one does not have this tenacity and capacity, then one will remain frivolous. Though there are claims of Vedanta, but any other methodology is only an entertainment. It can make you feel good, but just feeling good does not mean that it is taking you anywhere close to the teachings of Upanishad. Therefore, let your criteria not be the criteria of feel good factor. Rather, what did I understand today? What was being spoken about the subtle bodies, the samashti and vyashti? How was the tadatmyam established? And the Vaisheshikas claim that it cannot be tadatmyam, but it is samavaya, was also knocked out. There is something like the tadatmya sambandha is also established. And similarly, now the tadatmya is there between the samashti sukshma and vyashti sukshma. There is tadatmyam between taijasa and hiranyagarbha. But before that tadatmyam can be contemplated upon, there is a doubt that samashti sukshma sharira cannot be called as the material cause of the vyashti sukshma sharira. Okay? The total subtle body cannot be called as the cause of the individual subtle body, material cause. Because the material cause of the subtle body is the five elements. When this is the case, then how can there be tadatmyam between the samashti and vyashti sukshma shariras? There is this objection. Now, whatever the teacher is going to say is simply going to resolve this objection. So, what is the tadatmya sambandha? What is called, how can there tadatmya be there even between vyakti and jati, or samanya and vishesha? And therefore, since tadatmya is there, there can be tadatmya between the samashti and vyashti. There can be tadatmya now between the hiranyagarbha and taijasa. But there is yet another objection that it is not possible, because this is only an objection. It will be resolved since we are not going to enter into the next line. Actually, over here, the topic will come to an end. But I'm just going to leave it at that, because some of you are already feeling that, you're not able to have a grip on the topic that is being taught. Either it could be because, a person is preoccupied or not ready, or because I have used too many words, Sanskrit words. But that is, technical topic. This is inevitable. Well, friends, let's walk patiently and follow how the teacher leads us to Brahmachintanam, Shastra Chintanam. Okay? Introduce yourself to the proper way of contemplation. And the proper way is the Shastriya way of doing the contemplation. We will stop here, take and then meet again, and once again begin this topic to complete this just one tadatmya part of it. All right? Om Brahmaham Yat Prasadena Mai Vishwam Prakalpitam Shrimad Swayam Prakashakhyam Pranami Jagatan Guru Yah Paramatma Jagat Srishtva Pravivesha Punasvayam तं कृष्णं प्रत्यगात्मानं वन्दे गोपीमनोहरम् यस्य प्रसादादहमद्वयात्मा विश्वं समस्तं मयि कल्पितं च तं सर्वलोकैकगुरुं सदाश्री स्वयं प्रकाशं गुरुमानतोऽस्मि गुरूणां चरणाम्भोजं प्रणिपत्य निरन्तरं तत्कृपालेशतो द्वैत चिन्ताकौस्तुभमारभे ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Thank you very much.